Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 10th zoning board of appeals meeting. Call to order the seating of alternates right now, but I don't think we need any alternates. I think we have, because we have Evan is here, George is here, I'm here, Kevin is here, and Mr. Tuttle is here. So, and we don't need any seating of any alternates at this moment. We will in a little bit, and I'll get to that in a minute. Secondly, I'd like to introduce Katrina is helping us out tonight. Thank you very much. Katrina, this is the zoning board of appeals, and it is Katrina, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. All right, just make it sure. All right, reading of the legal notice.
Notice is hereby given that the zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing at their meeting on Monday, August 10th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the East Hampton Town Hall, 1 Community Drive, room, is it 117 that you're in, via Zoom, to consider the following applications. ZBA 26-006, Kevin and Amanda Reed, 5 Hawthorne Drive, requesting a variance to section 4.1E, area and dimensional standards to reduce the required side yard setback from the existing 10 feet to 3 feet, and to increase the maximum lot coverage from 44.06% to 44.2%. for the construction of a deck over an existing patio area on 5 Hawthorne Drive in the R1 district, map 10A, block 82, lot 34A. And ZBA application 26-007, Michael Scranton, 15 Schoolhouse Drive, requesting a variance to sections 8.3I, accessory structures to be subordinate, and 8.3.I.5B, max aggregate square feet of accessory structures, to permit the construction of a 720 square foot addition to the existing garage for a total size of 4,584 square feet, and to allow a maximum aggregate square footage of all accessory structures to be 4,588 square feet on 15 Schoolhouse Drive in the R2 district, map 02C, block 21, lot 35. And ZBA 26-008, Kevin Flannery, 15 Flannery Row, requesting a variance from section 4.2E to reduce the required side yard setback in an R2 district from 25 feet to 10 feet to allow construction of a barn. Map 06, block 37, lot 9-4.
All right, approval of the minutes from June 8th meeting of 2026. Has everyone read those meeting minutes? Anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Unanimous. Before we get started too, I want to bring one thing up. We have a board member tonight that's going to be up in front of us. He's seated at the moment. I would like to make a motion, have somebody make a motion to take Mr. and Mrs. Reed to the end of the meeting tonight, so that at the end he can stand up and he can recuse himself, and obviously, and
I'll make a motion to make that change.
anybody make second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? It's unanimous. One other thing, I don't know if this matters, Juliet, when you were talking, you said room 117, we're in 201. Does that matter in the minutes? Somebody wants to correct it later if they have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was making sure the agenda said it, but you said there is a note downstairs?
There is a note downstairs. You said 117. I don't want to correct you, but it was 201. I don't know if that's a
Right,
big
but
deal.
that's what the notice said. That's why I was making sure that we covered our bases by having a note
Right.
downstairs, but so yes, just let the minutes reflect that it's 201.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Scranton, would you like to stand up and state your name and your address and what you're trying to do here?
Michael Scranton, 15 Schoolhouse Lane in Middle Haven. And I know it said Schoolhouse Drive, but there's no Schoolhouse Drive.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think in your packet, you may have the drawings of what our plan was. I want to put, my truck with snowplow in my garage. Currently, I can't put it in my current garage. So I want to put on a 20 foot wide, 36 feet deep. I can look at the plow and stand everything on there. It's, you know, fit. And, this is what it will look like.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Mind if you have a copy or?
Yeah, sure.
Mind if I put copy this?
Sure. And one thing I was a little concerned with, and Julia can probably explain what, it's the square footage that I have of the garage with the addition would be 1,584 feet. It's
Yeah.
kind of,
You are correct. The notice was
oh,
totaling everything.
okay.
Should
I'm
have
there
been
like
written.
4,000 square feet, that.
Yeah, I
that's-
know.
that's,
So the notice was totaling his proposed addition?
I think that 4,000 covers every building you have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My house, the barn and stuff. And the reason I'm asking for the variance is because I started this process last September with the Middle Haddam Historic District. And, you know, you have to go through all the processes with them. They approved it. And then gone through all the steps with Juliet to try to get here, but because of the square footage, I guess, is larger than my house. It can't even see it really from the road when I'm doing, but it will allow me to put my truck in the garage and.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is Juliet and I had talked about, you know, she said, well, if you could do a separate building, the only thing then it'll actually put it closer to the brook, which right now, there's enough separation. It's a seasonal brook. It only runs in the winter time, doesn't really run from May to October. It'll push it, you know,
Yeah,
and my electrical's in the existing garage. It just makes sense to put it on the side of the garage.
Julia, can I ask you a question?
She was having technical issues. I thought she logged out, was gonna come back and
Okay.
she froze for.
Almost, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know she can't answer for herself real quick, but she said you could do this separately.
Well, she said I could build a separate building, but then I'd have to go back through the.
Oh, no, I get that,
historic
but you could build a separate building.
Could build a separate building
in the house.
They call it a barn, because I have animals there and it's agricultural and,
Gotcha.
but I want to have my garage, you know.
So not a lot coverage issue.
I mean, most of my property is not even covered by, you know, it's just that one area behind the house.
So to clarify, the garage is 720 square feet you're proposing.
Yes. I know, when I saw the announcement on that.
4,000 square foot garage. Overkill. Well, some guys would want that.
Right,
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I'm wrong. Exactly, right?
So, that's that. Yeah.
You have a question you'd like to ask? You change your like to ask a question?
I do have a quick question. When you're looking at this, obviously
That's gonna be the addition.
so this is the addition or this is the addition?
Yeah, the addition is right there. That
Oh,
other,
Never mind. You know
that
what?
other little building is where I keep like lawnmowers and stuff.
I'm looking at the other one. I'm sorry.
And that building's been, you know, it's by the brook, but it's been there, I'm 72 and it was there before I was born, so it hasn't washed away yet.
Well, while we're waiting for Julia, is there anybody on the board that has any questions about this?
I don't,
John? Nothing?
Correspondence.
That was what I was gonna ask, but I don't know. Katrina, do you know if there's,
Sorry,
there you are.
my cat hit airplane mode. I was like, what happened? Jesus Christ.
Julia, is there anybody that wrote in about whether it's for or against this application? Nothing,
No.
on paper? Okay,
No communications.
okay. Open up to the public, talk about it, right? You have no more questions, Bill?
No.
Open this meeting up to the public to, is there anybody here that would like to speak either for or against this application? Please stand up, state your name and your address and. Is there anybody online that wants to speak?
There is one person, but they're not raising their hand at the moment.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Very unanimous. You're all set.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you very much.
Nice drawing.
Thank you.
You want this back?
You can-
We don't need it. No, we're good.
Thank you.
You got it.
And then what is our next step? Go see the building official or Juliet or?
You gotta get your checkbook ready to start.
Yeah,
Build it.
Pay the piper now.
I don't know. I would say typically, yes, I would say go to the building department, but do we have anybody
Yes,
really?
we go to the building department. We're still there.
Okay,
Thank you, Juliet.
okay.
Yeah, you'll need a zoning permit as well.
Oh, we're going to close.
A zoning permit, is that already been,
Close it to the public hearing.
so then that'll, I can get that at the tomorrow or at whenever?
Yeah,
So
you'll
we
need
have-
you need to get this, the appeal period is 2 weeks, so you have to wait the appeal period and then you can start the process in the building department, but we can't approve anything until the appeal period is passed. So we have to put a notice in the paper first and then the appeal period will run.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've never done this, so I have no idea the
You'll
process.
you'll get a letter. You'll get a letter from,
I'll wait till I get the letter. Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, I did forget to close the meeting to the public after, before the motion was made, but. All right. Next on the agenda would be for Mr. Flannery at 15 Flannery Row. Is there anybody here to speak for, to present?
So I noted here, that Owen was gonna be here, on his behalf, but see, so.
I don't see anybody. Should be, table it until the next meeting, or Julia, what would you do with this? Do we
there's
table it
nobody
till
there to
next meeting?
present?
There's nobody here to present.
Oh, they have to be there to present, so
So
you'll have
make a
to,
motion.
you'll,
What if he's planning on coming a little later? Because
Right,
last on the agenda,
just
and
put
we
me
should,
in.
let Kevin go first and we'll come back to that
All right,
to give it
then
a
we
fair shot.
can do that.
No.
All right, next on the agenda would be Mr. and Mrs. Reed, for 15 Hawthorne Drive. You have to just say you're gonna repeat.
I don't think myself in any part of it.
All right, make a motion to see Bob Hines as an alternate.
I'll make that motion to see Bob for this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's unanimous.
does Kevin have somebody else to present for him?
No.
You really shouldn't be presenting. Somebody else should be doing that.
That's why I recuse
You yourself, you're supposed to kind of leave the room actually, so.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
There you go.
Does he really have to leave the room?
I'm not leaving.
He's
You don't have-
theoretically supposed to. He's a member of the commission. You can't present to the board that you are a member of.
Why didn't you?
I don't
mention
believe you have
that
to leave the room though.
I,
Why would I-
because technically you're making, you could be making faces, you could sway the committee. I don't know, but there's reasons.
No. What do you want to do, Mr. Chairman?
Amanda can present for you, all right?
Yeah. she can present.
I'm gonna leave it. If you wanna leave the room, I'll leave it up to you. Well, I'm not forcing you to leave the room. So that's your prerogative if you want to leave, because if there is an issue and like Juliet said, if you're making faces and you're persuading
Yeah, I have
us,
to-
I would understand that.
Yeah, no.
Amanda, are you okay to present?
Yep. Fine.
I think I would just leave the room. I would.
For the option,
This person,
the option is to delay it to to the next meeting. Where Amanda knows ahead of time that she's. gonna
She
be
needs
able
Kevin,
to-
I can answer questions too. I know I'm familiar enough with the project.
Yeah, I know you are.
so,
I'm
So
just
she
presenting
can-
facts, Kevin.
She can leave the room and ask me if she has a question, correct? And come see me. She can
we
do
give
that.
it, we give it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. All right, just a minute, just state your name and your address and
Okay.
you can go
Well,
from
I
there.
have- I'm just gonna read it, if that's
Do
okay.
whatever you want to do.
All right, so good evening, my name is Amanda Reed, I live at 5 Hawthorne Road in East Hampton. My husband Kevin and I are applying for a variance to build a 14 by 14 deck on the east side of our property. The proposed construction of the deck will match the footprint of the existing patio below. We've made provisions to the design to ensure any additional lot coverage and soil disruption is minimal. Our hardship is based on a case law that states strict enforcement of setback regulations on a small, narrow property is an unnecessary hardship which prohibits reasonable use of one's property. In 2005, we applied for a similar variance on the west side of our property. The same hardship and reasoning were presented to the ZBA board at that time, and it was approved. Granting the variance would not adversely affect the adjacent property owners, as we have planted 12 8-foot arborvitae trees, and the deck design includes an 8-foot vinyl wall on the side of the deck to foster privacy near the property line. Thank you for your consideration.
So. Pretty simple. Juliet,
Yes.
um. This. The side in question of Kevin's house. That side, where the proposed deck is the side of his house already too close to the property line?
Well, there was a property line dispute at some point and it has changed a little bit. So right now, at the part where the deck is, I'd say, no, it's not too close.
But up
Or-
top by the road, looks like it's too close already.
Yeah,
Correct.
by the road it is, but not by where the 3-season room is. I think he just makes it on that side.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
too close on the other side, but that's where the variance was.
No, I get it. I understand. We've had applications before that they're asking to go 3.5 feet to the property line, but they're not actually going any closer to the property line other than the house was, because the house was already pre-built that close. So I didn't know if we were,
Mhm.
I didn't know if
He's
that,
he's going closer.
yeah.
This structure is being built over an existing concrete pad that's already. Most likely 3.95 feet from the property line, correct?
Mhm.
So they're just building something on top of an existing pad. That's already
You understand
in
that?
that spot.
And it's not a covered deck, it's an open deck,
Yeah,
correct?
there's a concrete pad over
I
there.
understand.
It's an open deck, it's not,
Hmm?
it's not covered.
So very minimal impact, there's no impact whatsoever, different than what's already there.
There's very little lot coverage impact here.
Because it's already a board pad. Yeah.
You basically just have to make the determination of reasonable use. You know what I would say if I were writing the memo, but I won't say it.
Why we're here though.
A neighbor did come in and express concerns, but she might be there tonight. I'm not sure, but I think she's all right right now.
That's your.
We do have some correspondence too. I think somebody wrote in a letter. Well, first off, does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Reed?
Excuse me, do I?
No, not yet. We're not open to the public yet. No, we'll come to it. We'll get you. We'll be here soon. Just for the board members. John, will anything?
I don't, if you're interested in hearing from neighboring street. So is it neighbors?
All right, Juliet, would you like to read this into, the correspondence? Would you like to read that into the? Well, we'll open up the meeting to the public now, because we have no questions for Mrs. Reed, so.
I don't have that in front of me.
Do you have it, Katrina? Do you want to read it in, or do you want me to read this in?
I don't know if I have that.
I can read it in.
Looks like 2 letters of support came in.
Maybe,
From Wilcox and Acheron.
Yep. All right, on 7/1/2026, the East Hampton Zoning Board of Appeals received a letter from
Just say mom.
Delamero and Angela Acheron. I'm probably off on this, but my name is Guillermo Acheron. My wife Angela and I currently live at 19 Mark Twain Drive, East Hampton, across the street from Kevin and Amanda Reed. The Reeds notified us that they would like to build a deck on their property and have shown us where they plan to construct it. Their property is always well kept, and the Reeds have always been considerate neighbors. We are in full support of their project and believe it is a reasonable use of their property. Most properties around the lake are small and they're non-conforming. We feel that their deck plans would be comparable to most properties in their neighborhood. We have no issues with their plans and are in full support of it. All right, second letter is from Mrs. Wilcox at 4 Hawthorne Road. I have known Kevin Reed and the Reed family since they have moved to the Poets across the street from me approximately 20 years ago. He keeps his property in pristine shape all year. I understand he wants to build a new deck. This will improve his property and I'm guessing and the tax base. So it will be a win-win for the town and his family. Kevin has helped in the past by having someone mow his lawn. His son mowed the lawn. It's stamped right there. And in my opinion, ZBA should approve his application to building a new deck on the front lakeside of his family house. You know, that's all that was in the correspondence. And
Yep.
Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak for or against this application?
Yes.
Man, you can sit down again if you want. You can sit down for a minute. We'll call you back up in a minute. Just speak your name and your address, please.
Peterman, 11 Hawthorne Road. I would like to make a few corrections on the statement that Kevin and Amanda made as far as hardships. In the first statement, they said their property is pie shaped. Well, it's roughly 60 by 50. To me, that's a little off rectangle. I wouldn't call it pie. Number one. Number two, he states the neighbor supports the approval of the application. At no time did Bill or I tell them we approved of the application. When he spoke to us about it, he mentioned that they were building a room over their deck, which sounded beautiful. It looks beautiful. We said, great. Then he said, I'm planning on putting a roof over my bar. No variance needed. Wonderful. We had no objections. Well, over time, things changed. And now we want a 14 by 14 deck that is going to come very close to our borderline. Why are we objecting? We live in a 3-story house. It has 3 flights of stairs. You can look at us and see we're not young. So we do not want to leave the neighborhood. We love our neighborhood. We love our neighbors. So we do have the option of building right next door. The hardship is going to be on building because our property there is almost pie shell. It's about 130 in the front and it goes to 24. So in order to put a house in the center, it's going to take a lot of creativity. If that happens, we're going to be shaking hands next door together. Love them dearly. I truly do. I hate being here. I don't like this whole situation. We've been friends for too many years. But there comes a time when you have to look out for yourself. And this is one time that unfortunately I have to say no to them. You mentioned the variances. In 2002, Amanda was right. They did get a variance on the west side from 15 feet to 3 feet. What she didn't mention is they also got a variance on the east side, our side, from 15 feet to 10 feet, which adds up to now 17 feet. Now they're looking for a little more than 6 more feet. They have a beautiful, beautiful home. I'm very happy for them all. They've got a patio with a bar downstairs. They've got a patio under their original deck, and they have a beautiful patio at the beach. Where is the hardship that we need a deck that's going to be? If I build a house, they'll be looking down on me. I'll probably be able to hand them a cup of coffee. We'll be so close. So now the variance is going from 17 feet to 22 feet of buildable property. I am asking you to deny this petition. You have anything more to say? If there is a question about where they said that we gave approval, we, like I said, we did say it sounded great when no variances were involved. But now there is.
Mhm.
So I thank you for your time.
You will. Is there anyone else in the crowd that would like? Yeah, fine, that's right.
I would like to know really what the hardship is. To me, it's not hardship, it's a want. And they've got so much already. Why do they? Well, I can't speak for them. Thank you.
He is correct.
What is she?
Saying. They aren't being denied reasonable use of the property. I mean, this is a case of I want to have a deck, not I need to have a deck. So I would just caution you, if it were to be appealed, if you were to approve it, you would lose. Hands down.
Is there anybody else in the crowd that would like to just stand up, state your name and your address?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Kosian. My wife Rhonda and I own 1 Hawthorne Road in East Hampton. And she is also the president of Jazzco Corporation, which is the immediate abutter 3 Hawthorne, right next to 5 Hawthorne Reeds. I had filed online not too long before this meeting, some letters. I don't know if they were received. If not, I did bring 6 copies with me. Would it be okay if I handed these?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Please give one to Katrina so we can have it in the record.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. I also have an A2 survey of my property and of Jazzco's property and the Reed's property. And I can open this up now, but it's here. I'm just,
Let's open it.
like Amanda, I have some remarks that I prepared because I wanted to make judicious use of this board's time.
Mhm.
So, you know, I've read the application file that's been filed with the town, but after reading every page, I don't really understand what's going on. I have 5 questions, okay? My first question is, what setback is legally being requested here? The application says 3 feet, legal notice says 3.9 feet. Those are different variances. Which one is before this board tonight? Whichever one the board votes on, the other one was never noticed. So that's a jurisdictional problem. That's not a typo. And the second question I have is, where on the property is this deck and where does the staircase land? There's no survey. There's no site plan locating the structure against the boundaries. And I looked at the applicant's own drawing and there's a set of stairs coming off this deck. If the applicant is to be believed, that staircase lands roughly 3 feet from my client Jasco's boundary. Foot traffic up and down at the line, but we can't even confirm that because the town's own minimum requirements, which are on the form that actually has a check, says A2 survey. It's not checked. And that's required by sections 9.4E and 9.4C3 of the regulations. Never submitted. It also says, but it does say that the applicant certified that the application was complete on a form that says in bold, only complete applications will be accepted. My third question, how close is this structure to Lake Poketipok? The parcel sits in the lake protection zone. Section 3.1 requires a 25-foot setback from the mean high water mark. The applicant's own drawing notes that the deck cantilevers on the lake side, and his own plan points the structure at the lake, but yet nothing in the file measures the distance to the water, nothing. My fourth question, what does this deck actually add, and where is the map that proves it? On the application, the deck is 14 by 14, that's 196 square feet. It's bigger than a parking space, roughly. The application claims the coverage is increased by roughly 12 square feet. That's like a card table top, okay? Maybe the answer sits in the fact that it's sitting over an existing patio that was discussed earlier, you know, with the thing there. But the regulations require that the applicant prove that the impervious surface documentation requires for this situation, because there's water flow, by the way. We all know about that. There's no such map in this file, and the board can't even establish a starting number. The application says the existing coverage is 44.06%. The town says it's 44%. The town's rules at 20% is the maximum. We're already looking at a place that's double the amount of coverage that normally is forward. The 2 documents can't agree on where the lot is, never mind where it's going. My 5th question, follow up to the earlier one, where does the water go? Section 3.1.f.1.b requires a plan eliminating additional runoff in the zone. The lots, as I mentioned, already double the maximum coverage on the shore of the lake, and this town has spent considerable time and money trying to protect the lake. We all know about the algae problem. I've been here for my wife, 20 years. It's a lot, but there's no runoff plan in this file. So we have 5 questions, and I don't really have answers to those. An application that can't answer where it is, what it covers, where the water goes. And I want to be candid with the board, you know, I'm not asking these questions to be difficult. I'm only asking because I genuinely do not know the answers. I read every page of the file, and I still can't tell you where this deck will sit. I can't tell you how far it'll be from my client's line in Jasco 3, Hawthorne, where the staircase lands, how close it comes to the lake, where the rainwater goes. I'm the next door neighbor, it's Jasco. If I can't figure out from this form in the file, I don't know how the board can. And this is not a criticism of anyone, it's just something that I factually noticed. So the issue of hardship was brought up by Jane. The legal test, the hardship test under Connecticut General Statute, Section 8-6A, Subdivision 3, allows a variance only where the strict application of the regulations produces exceptional difficulty or unusual hardship arising from conditions especially affecting the parcel, the conditions of the land, and not affecting the district generally. And it tells us, the same section tells us why this is strict. A variance runs with the land forever. It's not a personal favor to the owner. It's a permanent change to what this parcel will be allowed to do. The question is never what does the owner want? The legal question is what does the land require? So let's measure this application, okay? First, I think this land already has full reasonable use. There is a house, there is a patio. The lot is already built out to 44% coverage, more than double what our regulations in this town allow. The hardship letter claims compliance is physically impossible, preventing any reasonable use with great respect. A home at double the coverage maximum with a patio, beautiful home on the shore of Lake Pokey Pond is not a parcel deprived of reasonable use. It may be the most fully used parcel possibly on our street. And second, nothing about this land has changed. The claimed hardship is that the lot it's that small, it's 1/5 of an acre, pie-shaped. Well, I've given you here an actual A2 survey that gives the exact dimensions. And to the extent that it's referred to as a pie, in a way I understand that because it's narrower at the water and it's wider as you come back to the street.
Recording in
So-
progress.
The 2005 variance. was referred to.
Hang on.
All right, a little reverb there.
I just want to be able to share my screen so you can see the,
Okay, no problem.
go ahead.
Okay, good. So it is pie shaped, and so even this variance, it's getting narrower. And they the application says 3 feet, which I think is not tenable. You know, a condition, and I wanna mention something too. The lot was small and 0.20 of an acre shaped the day the applicants bought it. And every day since as they've lived there. The condition an owner buys with eyes open and lives with comfortably for decades is not a hardship. It's not an exceptional difficulty. It's the property. What hasn't changed isn't the land. It's what the owners would like to build on it. And section 8.6 draws that law clearly for us. Conditions of the parcel qualify, desires of the owners do not. And this pie shape narrows towards the lake, so building towards the lake in the narrow end is a design choice. It's not a condition of the land forced on anyone. And third, you know, whatever hardship this lot ever had, you know, the board did look at this a long time ago. It was enjoyed for 20 years. The owners then chose to enclose it, converting their deck into indoor living space. That was their right. But you can enclose your deck by choice and then return to this board claiming the absence of a deck is a hardship, the land imposed on you. That is not a hardship. That is a decision. And under settled Connecticut law, a difficulty of the owner's own making can never support a variance. Otherwise, every owner could manufacture a hardship with hammer and nails. Fourth, and this is a matter of record, not argument. I submitted the A2 survey that we did back in February 4th, 2021. It shows lot 3 and lot 5. It shows the applicant's existing deck near the westerly border, with the westerly side that the board did approve to 3 feet back in 2005. And when we had our survey done, and I even feel like that's a little tight to us, okay? The survey said that sits at 9.5 feet from Jasco Corporation's line, and that's tight. So not the 3 feet, the variance permitted. So I wanted to be clear about that because I'm not here talking about generalities. I wonder what's going on. I'm not sure what's happening. I actually paid to have a survey done. I know exactly what's happening and I'm sharing it with the board and you have the exact figures. This is not guesswork. So the applicants never needed the full breadth of the first variance anyway, okay? It was the condition on that boundary line for the entire life has been 9.5 feet on my side, okay? Tonight's application would place a brand new structure, a deck and a staircase 3 times closer to my client's line than anything that has ever stood there. And the applicants ask you to call that a hardship. The existing deck is proof that there is none. If this lot allows 9.5 feet, nothing about the land requires 3. Only the preference does. And then fifth, This claim condition is not even unusual. Small, tight, irregular lots. That's the norm around Lake Pokety Park. The statute requires a condition that does not adversely affect the district generally. If a small lake were itself a hardship, every parcel on our shoreline would be entitled to build 3 feet, and the setback regulations would mean nothing. And one more thing on this. This hardship letter states, and I'll quote, "In fact, our neighbor who borders the side of the property in question supports approval of this application." I was gonna ask which neighbor, but I heard it. When it came in, you read the neighbors, I didn't know that. But I want to let you know that Jazzco Corporation, we were not asked. Nicholas and Rhonda Kosian, we were not asked. Except by formal notice to this hearing. And there's no letter of support in the file that I could find, except maybe the ones that came in recently. And Jazzco borders on the west line, and we object in writing tonight. And the board should not credit an unattributed, undocumented claim of neighbor consent on a variance that runs with the land forever. And I'm gonna conclude shortly, but I just have a few more quick points to make. What does 3 feet actually mean, if you're considering it? Let me step out of the statute for a moment, because I want the board to picture this. This is a lake neighborhood. The lots are small, the houses are close. That's the trade everybody made for being near the water. And it works because a little bit of separation, the rules preserve. Now picture a deck 3 feet from your own side yard. Not the neighbor's house 30 feet off, a gathering place raised above the ground, looking down in your yard with a staircase 3 feet from your line. The dinner conversations at your line, the grill smoke drifting across our yard, the music, the birthday parties, the Friday nights, all of it 3 feet from your property, close enough that you could lean over and touch it permanently, forever. I'd respectfully ask each board member, would you want that 3 feet off of your own side yard? I don't think anyone would. And unlike the deck this board approved in 2005, this proposed deck sits farther down the narrow end of the pie shape, or whatever, you don't have to call it a pie, it's just narrower on the thing, making it press even harder against the abutting neighbors. And for 20 years, the 9.5 feet that was off did work. Nobody explained why all of a sudden it can't. And this is not an abstract for my client Jazzco, because I want the board to know this. We are actually actively meeting with builders and designers to take down the old cottage, okay? We met with, talking to dream developers and other people. So we intend to construct a new home on 3 Hawthorne Road. And Jazzco will follow the rules, comply with the setbacks, will do what's necessary to protect the lake, as it must, as it should, as we should. But if we ever decided to ask for a variance, our file would be complete with the information that is mandated by the procedure and the process. Because every sitting decision, every fire safety separation calculation, every drain plan for that new home depends on knowing what stands and what may stand 3 feet from the boundary or 9.5 feet from the boundary. The neighbor who intends to follow the rules should not have to design around another neighbor who's asking to be excused for them for the second time, when the survey shows he never even needed the first. So Jazzco and I respectfully ask this board to deny this application. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I clarify a few things
Go ahead.
on record? May I clarify a few things on the record?
Yeah.
So we did receive a site plan. If you can, are you able to see my screen somewhere in that room?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we did get a site plan. The 3.95 versus 3 was a discrepancy, but it's okay, because what you would be, if you were to approve this, you'd be approving something that's less of a variance than what was noticed. In other words, if it was the other way around and we had noticed that he wants a 3.95 to be 3.95 feet away from the property, and now suddenly came in and he wanted to be 3 feet, that would be a problem. But the other way around is okay. The site plan shows it at 3.95. The building, to answer the other question, is 40, the deck is 41, looks like 41 feet from the lake where it sort of dips in. You can see my cursor. So that's the shortest part. It's 41 feet. Can't remember what your other, and as far as the infiltration goes, should it get approved, he would have to go to the Conservation Lake Commission. They would deal with the infiltration bit. That's not your purview. You don't deal with that. And then it would need a zoning and a building permit, but Conservation Lake Commission would make the determination on that. But other than that, I would say his other points were spot on.
That's to regards to like, the Lake Commission would, like, possible, rain gardens and all that kind of stuff, correct?
Yeah, a lot of times they'll even require underground infiltration.
Yeah,
Maybe not for this because there wasn't a dramatic increase in the coverage, but it's possible. But that's,
Okay.
and I, it is a self-imposed hardship, clearly.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned stairs.
Yes.
So
They're
you're,
In the middle.
yeah. I don't see stairs coming down on the west side, just like sort of between the in-season roofs. Is this what
The stairs, yeah.
Yeah, and you're.
Where my cursor is in the stairs.
Your property's on this side.
But this is not in reference to anything.
Well, this is.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
But I don't know where this was gonna be placed on that. I'm sure they
Yeah,
can say it.
I haven't seen that before, so I'm concerned about that.
Oh,
I'm concerned about this, and I just wanted to clarify, you mentioned stairs, and I thought you suggested that the applicant was putting stairs on that side of the.
I just don't know where he's putting it, honestly.
May I answer that? May I?
give it a second, we'll ask you, yeah.
So there's no stairs on the, I guess, west side of the deck being proposed, there's no west, there's no stairs. Correct?
No, I don't think so.
The stairs are in the middle.
Yeah.
But there's no pre-existing stairs on the west side, correct?
I don't know if the stairs that are in the middle here are existing or not.
Amanda, can you please stand up and answer this question for us?
So the stairs that are on the east side where the changes are gonna be made are pre-existing. And the deck is gonna be made right off of those stairs. So no new stairs are being built. The deck is going to go right off of the pre-existing stairs.
Okay, thank you. That answers that?
Yeah.
You good?
Mhm.
Julia, in this situation. I know it was brought up about how far away all this is to the lake. In that zone, he's supposed to have 50 feet, correct? And it's 41,
Is it 50 or
I
25?
don't know,
25.
I don't know.
I'd have to look. Hang on. Well, what does the site plan say? Rear is 25.
So he's not too close to the water, which is a good thing.
No, the site plans, the zoning data is wrong because it should be showing what the deck is, not what the house is, but.
I have two questions for you, Juliet.
Mhm.
It was brought up that the application in one of the, guests here tonight's opinion is incomplete. And
I don't-
is that true? Because if that is the truth, then we obviously can't prove something that's incomplete.
I don't feel that it is incomplete. We did get a site plan. He did put his sign up and did his notices and.
And then the other question I have is. I would feel differently about this. If this whole new proposed deck structure. Came out of nowhere. But. There's been a pad there and a bar area, and at one point it was roofed. It was It had a roof structure over it for a long, long time. The same dimensions. And it apparently was acceptable. By all parties involved. So. I'm struggling with that, it's not acceptable now.
Can I address that?
What's it?
The public comment's still open. You should-
Well, we could, I was just letting you finish. What you
Yeah, no, that's where I started with it. This 4 foot thing isn't new. That
Well,
4 foot.
we don't regulate patios, so a patio can be that close. We do regulate decks. So it is different.
How high off the ground will the deck be? Is it down flat on the same level as the patio? Or is it 4 feet in the air?
No, it's 8 feet.
It's 8 feet. in the air.
Approximately 7 feet.
Okay, there's the difference.
So you're adding a whole other usable area.
Yep,
The difference, okay.
because it'll be at the same, the new decking will be at the same height as the existing. Which is approximately
Okay,
7 feet, 8 feet. Right, right, Ms. Peter, you.
In reference, are you referring to the thatched
Yeah,
roof?
yeah.
Well, that was very temporary, that
Yeah.
wasn't a permanent
Well, I
structure.
understand.
It was a thatched roof, and it wouldn't be looking, it wasn't looking down on it. Where a deck would be.
But my point was that it was also 3.5 feet away, you know, and that's the point I was making. It was.
I understand it, but it was a temporary angled thatched roof that didn't last very long. As I remember, maybe a year or two.
And it would not have required a variance.
Right, because it was temporary, right?
Right.
Yeah, or movable.
Yeah, patios we don't deal with, so I mean, I don't know if anybody knew it had a thatched structure over it, but I doubt it would have risen to the occasion of needing a variance.
The other question I have for you also is the gentleman brought up the fact that there was a 3 feet and a 3.95 foot variance. I don't see the 3 foot variance.
It
Unless
was
it-
on the original application, so we didn't tamper with that, we just. The notice reflected 3.95. That's what's
Okay.
important, and the site plan shows that,
So
which is more than
Hypothet-
3 feet, so it's less stringent, you're giving less of a variance versus giving more of a variance.
all right, so hypothetically speaking, if this was to go through and the Reeds were to build their deck, it would be 3.95 from the edge of the deck would be 3.95 from the property line.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Amanda would like to say something.
I have two things that's adding to the confusion. So we had originally submitted an application. And that's where the difference in the footage away from the property line is. Because we were working with Juliet and all the requirements that our survey needed to say, like the zoning, everything. And that's when the survey said, he actually came out and measured it because we redesigned it to move as far away from the property line as possible. And that's when we asked Julia what we should do. She said, just resubmit the application. And when we did resubmit it, we took out the part about support because we knew that was no longer there. So that caused a lot of confusion with people that are seeing the old submission versus the new submission. The new submission has the correct numbers and the correct people who approve and disapprove of it. The other thing I'd like to say is, and no offense, but the neighbor that is on the west side of the property, there is nothing there right now. It is a field, it is a yard. So if they don't want someone looking down on them, build in a different area. There's nothing there.
Are you talking my side?
Yes.
We're the east side, not the west
The
side.
east side, excuse me.
I don't want to leave the neighborhood.
I'm not asking-
We love the neighborhood and we don't wish to move. And we have to.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Depends on for who. I'm sure, yes. Yeah, yes.
I'm Julie Chuchas, 67 Viola Drive. I'm speaking as a member of the public, but also soon to be seated on this board. And I'm speaking against the application and with all due respect to the application and the people that are seated on this board. But since I've been attending meetings, I do not understand how I don't understand if the board is doing enough to clarify the hardship. Because I also reviewed the state statute relative to a document that was provided to me in anticipation of me being on this board. It was a review of case law relative to towns that went to the court to see if they could get something approved. And several towns are noted in this document. And basically, it also has gone to the Supreme Court. I feel the need to list the reasons of unusual hardship, okay? And what isn't unusual hardship. The hardship must be different in kind than generally affecting properties in the same zoning district. It must be unique or unusual. Disappointment in the use of the property, namely the inability to build a larger structure, does not constitute unusual hardship. Where a hardship is self-created, the zoning board of appeals cannot grant a variance. If a problem for which a variance is requested was created by someone hired by the property owner to do the work, this is a self-created hardship. The fact that a requested variance must be maybe very minor in scope does not make it a hardship sufficient for granting of the variance. Unusual hardship may be shown by demonstrating that the zoning regulation has deprived the property of all reasonable use and value, thereby practically confiscating the property. When a reasonable use of the property exists, there can be no practical confiscation. So how do you get around this? Well, there is an alternative to showing of unusual hardship, if it's not possible, and that is that no case should be allowed to continue with nonconformity. And if requested, a variance will reduce or eliminate existing nonconformity. Proof of unusual hardship, therefore, is not required. So I think it's incumbent upon this board to really require a true understanding of what the hardship is. So I'm not understanding the hardship. And I also think it's incumbent upon the board to really, really critically review any application that has to do with the property on the lake. We've spent so much time, money, and energy trying to preserve the lake. And it's not clear to me, if you build a deck on top of a patio, what ramifications that has to the land, to the runoff, to the vegetation. I just, it's not clear to me. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep.
So when I cited, that, based on case law, and I said that, strict enforcement of setback regulations can become a hardship in itself. I was citing a case Ferraro versus the Board of Zoning. So I don't have those details with me, but I could actually look that up and see what the ruling was. In addition, I feel that in our neighborhood, a lot of people have asked for this type of variance and has had it approved. So I don't want to be, to her point, the made a example of where all of a sudden we're going to start doing things differently, just because of they want rejected. So I just feel like I can probably cite many neighbors that have had the exact same thing, have had it approved. So I just want to take that into consideration as well.
I would have one comment on that respectfully. Anything that happened that's not part of this hearing is not relevant to these proceedings. You're judging this application on these facts and what affects this property.
That is correct. Variances don't set precedents.
Then I'm sorry, why were we quoting a case law then? Like, why were we saying that?
It was case review. Case review.
Okay.
You were gonna say, did you want to speak?
That's all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the, well, I don't think there's anybody else in the room that wants to speak. Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to speak for or against this application?
No, they're not raising their hand.
Nobody's raising their hand.
I would like to say one more thing.
Sure, sure.
As far as the neighbors approving of this, the two across the street, I would sign that too, because it has absolutely no effect on them. They're across the street, they don't see it, they're not involved, it doesn't affect any aspect of their property or their lives. So if I lived there, I probably would have done the same thing, and I don't feel it should have much bearing on how this board votes. Thank you.
Well, we're gonna close the meeting to the public. If nobody has anything else to say, we're gonna close to the public. I do have a couple questions for Juliet on this. The pre-existing deck that's there,
Patio.
no, the deck, the actual deck itself. They want to. Go ahead.
Is there a deck or is it a closed? I thought it was a sunroom.
Closed in.
Being enclosed.
It was a deck.
Enclosed.
It was a deck.
It is enclosed?
They
Oh, I'm
enclosed,
sorry.
they
Okay,
enclosed it.
all right, so. That screws me up a little bit what I was gonna ask. So the proposed area is just above the patio that's going to be extended off this deck. And will that have a roof over it also, or is that just a portion of deck over the concrete patio?
It's just a deck over the patio and it's not joined to the three season room. There's, stairs in between. The stairs
Okay.
go down in the middle and then it's a separate sort of structure above that's, 8 feet above the patio below.
Okay.
I don't have the building plans to know if it's at the same level as that three season room, but I assume it probably.
So then somebody brought up a fact that some work could have been done without having a variance. What would that work have been?
Like putting a patio in, the concrete patio, we don't regulate that way. It doesn't have to abide by setbacks. So that wouldn't have required a variance. The thatched roof, that would have been, up for
I thought
debate,
somebody
but-
said something about, I thought somebody had said something about what was being built. If it didn't go to a certain distance or something, it wouldn't have needed a variance to be built. I was just asking to see what
Yeah.
that was.
It would have to have been 15 feet.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Is there anybody on the board that has any questions for anybody?
Wow.
John, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Bob? No. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion?
The tough one.
Can I provide to see if, Kevin has anything that he'd like to say? I mean, he's a property owner. I can see him.
Already closed it.
We already closed it to the public. I just don't know if he can.
I think he's allowed to.
And when you make a motion, make it in the positive, even if you don't, even if you're all decided that you're gonna oppose it, you would still make a motion to approve and then you can vote yes or no. Otherwise it gets very confusing. Just for the record.
You're saying make a motion to,
Approve and then vote. That's got to vote
And then
against
you
it.
can vote against it if you don't agree with that. But when you start doing it in the negative, then it's hard to tell if it just makes it sort of impossible to interpret sometimes.
Hmm? Would you like to make a motion, John? Anybody?
I'll make a motion that we approve the application. Now realizing that it's complete for Juliet's support or acknowledgement.
Meaning all the facts are in, all the everything's in.
Right.
All right, would anybody like to second this motion?
We got to vote. Do we have to vote second first? We second before we vote on it?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if anybody wanted to second it. John made a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Will you second it? Was there? Bob, are you in favor or not in favor?
This is tough one. I have to say no.
Okay. What about Bob Hines? Are you in favor or not in favor?
I'm in favor.
You're in favor? Evan,
Not in favor.
you're not in favor?
Not in favor.
Okay, I'm wicked hard to hear, so, and I would have to say that I'm in favor for the application. I don't think that I truly don't think that what they're at, what's being asked for is huge ramifications. It's not like it's putting up a three-story house right on the property line. I just. I know this. I know it's gonna upset some people that if it's approved, but. You know, that it's still inside his property line. He's got trees right there, right on that edge. I don't know. If this is a three-story home being put there, right up that close to the property line, I would definitely have an issue with this, but. I might, I would say that I'm in favor for the application to be approved. So it looks like it is,
Didn't ask me yet.
what's that?
Didn't ask me yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. You made the
I'm in
motion.
favor as well.
I'm sorry.
Well, as long as the motion was someone had to make the motion just to get us going.
Okay. So right now we have John is in favor, I'm in favor, George is in favor, Bob Hines is in favor, Evan and Bob Hine are not in favor.
Wait, who is seated right now? Because that's too many people. You can only have 5
Bob
voting.
Hine is Bob Hine. Yeah, Bob Hines is seated, George Pfaffenbach is seated, Brian Spack seated, John Tuttle is seated, and Evan Giza is seated. So really and truly, the actual seated members, it is 4-1.
Okay.
In favor. That
All right.
pass? Or
If that would pass, but okay. That's what it is.
All right. I think we don't even need to bring Kevin back in to, Amanda, you were, what's it called? You were approved. The Flannerys are not here. I don't think we need Mr. Reed in here to make the motion on the Flannery application.
Yeah, we can't talk about it if they're not in the room, so.
Yeah, so we just leave it open for them?
So why don't you make a motion to continue the public hearing for that to your next meeting, because we did notice the public hearing.
All right,
So move.
make a motion to, move Kevin Flannery, ZBA 26008, at 15 Flannery Row, to the next scheduled meeting, which would be September. Don't know
14th,
the date.
is it
Is
the
it
second
14th?
Monday?
Yes,
Yeah, that's the 14th.
the 14th of September then. Anybody have a second for that?
I'll second that.
George is gonna second, all in favor? Aye. Anybody against that? Unanimous.
And we will send a letter out to Amanda as well, so definitely have to wait the 2-week appeal period.
Okay. And would anybody like, is there any old business that we need to discuss? I don't think there is. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? No move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, everybody's in favor. Well, thank you, everyone.